Etheria was once a land of living legends. Long ago, brave warriors across the realm stood together against an immortal evil known as the Old Ones. In the wake of this struggle, the champions locked away the power of the Old Ones inside Eternia crystals. Recently, the realm's heroes, called to a faraway crusade, have left their younger kin to tend the castle and its chores. Bored with their dreary duties, and imagining action and adventure, the pupils accidentally unleash an ancient force that has long been dormant. Now these heroes in training will have to grow up quickly. Together they will defend the Eternia crystals against those who would seek to resurrect the ancient evils. The huntress, squire, apprentice, and monk arrive at the castle's interior, exhausted after their epic battle with the terrifying monstrosity. The apprentice wonders where these dastardly creatures are coming from. The huntress remarks that evil beings must be drawn towards the energies contained within the Eternia crystals. The monk, who has taken a vow of silence, stoically stares off into the distance, as if remembering something from a dream. The squire boasts that it doesn't matter where their opponents hail from, as long as they fall beneath his sword. On that, the team agrees and forges on into the castle to turn back the tide. Though the throne room is in shambles, the four enjoy their victory over the goblin army's mechanical contraption. But this joyful respite is rudely interrupted by a thunderous roar from outside. Racing to the rooftops, they turn their eyes to the sky and see a gargantuan dragon circling overhead, rallying his troops for the final assault. The four defenders ready themselves for the ultimate battle ahead. The foul beast, broken and defeated by the team's relentless attack, collapses, plummeting to the ground in a ball of flame. With their final foe defeated, the pupils, nay, heroes, gather together and celebrate their victory. The apprentice stands in awe of the true energy contained within the Eternia crystals, contemplating ways to use this power for the forces of light. The squire raises his fist to the sky and realizes that the purest form of strength is the willpower to do what is right. The huntress slips back into the shadows, wondering what dark secrets the castle may yet hold. The monk meditates over the carnage that has been wrought, and then turns to his companions and laughs aloud with them. And one thing is certain for all. The realm of Etheria is now protected by a new generation of legends, and the old ones will not see the light of day under their watch. With the evil hordes defeated and the old ones safely imprisoned within the Eternia crystals, Etheria's four new champions, the squire, the huntress, apprentice, and monk, enjoy a well-earned respite. Etheria's citizens, overjoyed, celebrate our heroes' achievements. A time of peace and prosperity spreads, and our heroes patiently await the return of their legendary parents. But peace cannot last forever. A mysterious figure appears, warning the heroes of an unforeseen threat. A tale of a long-lost Eternia crystal, one that was shattered into 4 shards and scattered across the land. Evil, long-forgotten beasts consume the dark energy that spews forth from the shards, quietly growing in strength in regions most men have all but forgotten. Once they reach full capacity, these minions of evil will attempt to crush our heroes and bring the kingdom of Etheria to the brink of destruction. But if the shards were to be recombined, this tide of darkness would be destroyed once and for all. Having absorbed the mysterious figure's wisdom, our 4 heroes ready themselves for adventure They vow to recover the lost shards, restore the Eternia crystal, and banish the evil from these distant lands. Our heroes soon arrive at the outskirts of Etheria, a legendary forest named Mistymire, said to be home to the ancient fairies. But with the onset of this new terror, what dark secrets lie buried underneath its dense fog-covered branches? The Spider Queen and her kin fall to the might of Etheria's champions. The crystal shard slips from the Queen's rotund belly and falls to the ground. With one crystal shard collected, the heroes look into the distance filled with hope, wonder, and intense anticipation for the adventures that await them as they search for the remaining pieces of the lost Eternia crystal.
Traveling across the scorching desert, our four young heroes struggle to continue their quest. With their strength dwindling under the sun's intense heat, our heroes slow to a crawl. One by one, our young heroes succumb to the overwhelming heat, slowly slumping into the sand. Filled with doubt, they wonder if even their legendary parents could survive such a dangerous quest. The monk refuses to give in and inches onward, pushing himself to the top of a massive dune. There he discovers a mirage? No, it is the hidden city of Morago, the sacred dwelling of the legendary jinns. The monk rallies his companions. Invigorated by the monk's discovery, the young heroes lift themselves from the sand. With renewed strength, they rush onwards to see what lies ahead. Their destination finally in reach, our heroes make their way to the city's outpost to search for the shard within. With his lamps extinguished, the cunning Genie King falls to the combined force of our four champions. But before returning into the Nether, the Genie King warns the young heroes. As you walk in the footsteps of those who came before you, beware the shards, for they were not made to be a prison, but rather to imprison. And with that, the Genie King evaporates into the Nether, leaving his coveted Eternia shard behind. As their newly acquired blue shard lights the path toward the great sea of Aquinos, the team's confidence is restored at the thought of the fantastic new adventures that lie ahead. Arriving at the great sea, our heroes gaze upon the vast rolling tides. Miles below the surface rests the mythical city of Aquinos. With no way to reach the seafloor, the apprentice fears that their journey is over. Imploring the young mage to have faith, the huntress plucks a few berries from a nearby willow bush and drops them into the water. The fruit floats aimlessly in the water for several minutes. The apprentice, not impressed, turns to scoff at the huntress. As he does, a gigantic sea turtle rises from the ocean and devours her offering, startling him. His allies enjoy a good laugh at his expense. Composing themselves, the heroes mount the friendly creature and surge into the murky depths. As they go deeper, the water grows darker and their lungs ache for air. Suddenly, a great light shines from below. The water clears. Before them is the lost city of Aquinos, its walls surrounded by a bubble of air. Inside the bubble, our heroes dismount the turtle and peer into the seemingly abandoned city. Feeling the energy radiate from within, they know that somewhere in the damp gloom, an Eternia shard lies hidden. As the Kraken reels from the onslaught unleashed by the champions, the Eternia shard slips from its gaping maw. The huntress quickly collects the shard from the sand. But as the magical energy of the Kraken dissipates, the bubble that surrounds the city begins to collapse. As the icy waters rush in, the apprentice cries out, fearing for his team's life. With the team's imminent doom seemingly near, all is lost, until their faithful companion, the sea turtle, arrives to carry them from harm's way. Hopping aboard, our heroes speed out of the crumbling city, narrowly avoiding the crushing weight of stone and water. Breaking the ocean's surface, the huntress affectionately pets the sea turtle for his timely rescue. As the squire checks his armor for rust and the monk squeezes the water from his robes, the apprentice, alas, is overtaken with a wave of seasickness. As our heroes look towards the afternoon sun with a newfound appreciation for its warmth, their newly acquired Eternia shard radiates with energy. It is now clear where they must go, but without the power of flight, how will they reach the realms of the ancient Sky City? Narrowly escaping a watery grave, our young heroes contemplate the challenge of reaching the skies above. Suddenly, a shadow appears above them, and the team prepares for an attack. The clouds part to reveal not an enemy, but the friendly face of the Tavern Keep. He stands at the helm of some sort of flying contraption. Landing on the broad back of the noble beast, the Tavern Keep beckons his best customers to get on board and hold tight. The aircraft climbs far into the sky, soaring through layers of clouds until the fabled dwelling of the Sky People comes into view. But wait, the beautiful city seems to be under attack by a goblin aerial assault force. The battleship opens fire on our heroes. As the bombardment rages on, the Tavern Keep tells his passengers to keep their heads down and begins evasive maneuvers. Shot after shot whizzes by as the Tavern Keep continues his daredevil approach. Miraculously, the plane reaches the city in the clouds intact. The Tavern Keep drops off the young heroes and takes off once more to avoid the goblin barrage. Knowing that time is of the essence, the team quickly begins their search for the final Eternia shard. With a goblin battleship critically damaged from the battle, it begins to shake and shudder. The red Eternia shard is within our team's grasp, but the unstable ship causes the final shard to roll off the side of the deck. As the shard tumbles off the deck, the squire rushes to the edge and heroically leaps off after it. Flying at high speed, he catches the crystal and plunges his sword deep into the hull to stop his free fall. Meanwhile, the battleship begins to fall further and begins accelerating into a nosedive, plummeting through the clouds as the team clings for dear life. Just when all seems lost for the squire, the Tavern Keep's plane sweeps in from behind. Swinging in quickly, he picks up the squire before he loses his grip and navigates to the deck of the plummeting ship. As the battleship spirals out of control, the Tavern Keep edges closer to the team. The squire quickly grabs his friends and pulls them safely onto the plane. With a final Eternia shard in hand, the young heroes have earned themselves a much-needed vacation as they fly back to the tavern they call home. With all 4 Eternia shards collected, the team holds them up to the sunlight, and the crystal fragments begin to float into the air, moving towards each other. In a flash of light, they merge to reveal a large, twisted purple Eternia crystal. with a swirling portal of energy around it. A voice emanates from the black abyss.
You have come far in seeking your parents, little children. It is time now that you entered the portal as they did and face your destiny.
Shocked at this turn of events, the group consults with each other. What must this mean? What is inside this Eternia crystal? Could their legendary predecessors really be inside? Putting aside any fear and doubt, the heroes agree they must investigate. The champions take a moment to prepare themselves for what may lie ahead. Ready together before this ultimate challenge, the team of heroes prepare to enter the vortex before them, and though they may be little, stand tall before whatever dangers await inside. Having vanquished the nightmares before them and freed their parents from crystalline bondage in the dark Eternia crystal, they now encounter a vast empty chamber, dimmed of light. Suddenly, ghostly fires spring up across the hall, and the bone-chilling voice once again is heard.
If it isn't the children of those foolish heroes who stumbled into my prison, following in your parents' footsteps, you've fallen into the exact same trap. How glorious it shall be to defeat the heroes of the realm in one swift stroke, and then free my brothers from their crystal prisons to bring a reign of destruction upon your world.
Having defeated countless minions and overcome seemingly impossible odds, the young champions brace themselves for the final battle. Unleashing their righteous fury, the heroes stand together and prepare to defend themselves, their parents, and the land of Etheria one last time. Channeling dark energy, the Old One refuses to fall and unleashes a devastating energy blast that pushes the team back to the chamber's outer walls. As the apprentice fights to shield the team from it with his own magical energy, he exclaims that he can't hold it for long. As the team realizes they may not be able to defeat this evil incarnate, the apprentice's magical shield begins to buckle and crack under the incredible onslaught of dark energy. Just when all is lost, a runic circle reinforces the apprentice's shield and deflects the ray of darkness. The apprentice wonders just who could deflect such power from a distance, and turns to see none other than his father, the Grand Magus, and the other legendary heroes. Together with the Knight, Elven Ranger, and Chi Master, the newly revitalized heroes leap into the fray. Fighting alongside each other, the two generations of legendary heroes together unleash brutal punishment on the Old One. Under this unrelenting assault, its physical form begins to fracture and finally explodes into 1,000 pieces. As the resident of this crystal prison is no more, the astral environment itself begins to collapse, and the champions make a hasty retreat back into the portal that connects to Etheria. Arriving safely back on familiar ground, the family is happily reunited and at peace once more, thanks to the bravery and strength of the young heroes. Together, the two generations of champions pause to view gathering storm clouds in the distance, pulsing with dark energy. The legendary heroes of old proclaim to their kin that as this crystal prison has been shattered, so others are weakening. Generations of heroes from all across the lands must now join in this call to arms, for the true battle for Etheria has just begun.
Though their quest is complete, a new crisis brews in Etheria. One by one, the Eternia crystals are shattered, drenching the skies in the amethyst colors of the Old Ones. The legendary heroes act quickly, knowing Etheria will soon be overrun. The Knight, the Chi-Master, and the Grand Mages depart for the far reaches of the land, while the Elven Archer remains with the 4 young heroes. She calls upon the aid of the Tavern Keeper to reach the magnificent elven city of Embermount, home to her people and built in the shadow of a massive volcano. The long dormant mountain rumbles ominously as they make their way inside. Bizarre ancient statues line the walls, giving the heroes a distinct feeling of unease. As they reach the inner chamber, the echoes of the Old One's armies thunder through the cavern. The Elven Archer draws the attention of the stronger enemies, but it is the young heroes that once again must protect the last of the remaining Eternia crystals. With the armies of the Old Ones pushed back, the 4 heroes are drawn to the mysterious statue chained above the crystal. But a sudden flash of movement catches their eye, revealing the same hooded figure that led them on their previous quests. The heroes ready their weapons, but he knocks them back effortlessly. They look on, powerless to stop him, as he seizes the Eternia crystals and escapes as suddenly as he arrived. But there is no time to give chase. The Elven Archer calls out to them as the ceiling begins to fall. She guides them to the waiting aircraft, and the heroes soar away, an ear-piercing explosion resounding behind them. They can only watch, helpless, as the volcano erupts, an unrelenting elemental force of ash and fire that annihilates the defenseless city below.